Hey, funny homies. It's time for episode 15 of season 5 of the Fake Football Guy show. On today's episode, we discuss this week's waiver wire and so much more. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back, fantasy football fam, to another awesome episode of the Fake Football Guy show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Campos, and alongside me is the best co-host of all time, the guy that's in last place in my home league, Dustin DL Lingerman. What's up, DL?
Hey, man, why you got to air out our laundry, okay? First of all,
I've been saying good things. This time I had to,
that's all right. It's fine. You know what, dude? And what sucked is I went up against the last place person. Like, we were tied for 11th. I was like, oh my God, this motherfucker. He's got nobody, right?
Yep.
And then Monday night happened, and I lost by fucking 5 points. I was so mad.
I've been there.
I was literally about to text everyone in that chat like, I fucking hate fantasy. Fuck this shit. But I made a pretty good trade today. I was offered this. So grade this trade. I was offered this. And I was like a little hesitant because I was like, wait a second, what's the catch? So straight up trade. I have Jackson Dart and I have Bo Nix as my quarterback. I was offered Dak Prescott for Jackson Dart.
Now, why were you offered this deal?
I was offered this deal because the person who wanted Jackson Dart had Dak, right? And Dak's on a bye, and his backup was Justin Fields. So I think, and his thinking is like, I can either A, try to get something on the waiver and have to spend on my fab, or maybe he doesn't have fab, or I can trade Dak to the last place team who has CD Lamb and be like, hey, don't you want that stack?
Yeah.
And it worked.
No, it made a lot of sense for you to take that deal, especially because you have a quarterback who he probably wouldn't have traded for. I don't think he would have traded for Nix, but Nix is still good. He's been solid for you since you acquired him. So throw in Nix for 1 week, and then you get a top 7 quarterback rest of the season, and you stack him with CD. Why not?
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it. The only thing that I was hesitant is number one. I was like, why are you just giving me Dak for I was like, wait a second, because especially this league, you gotta keep your head on a swivel. You never know. Number one. Number two, I was like, man, Jackson Dart is he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
And his schedule's so great for the rest of the season. But Dax is a little bit shaky here and there, but if they're playing from behind, who cares? And I was just like, you know what? Last place, why not have Dak? Why not go out with a blaze of glory, So hopefully, phony homies, I'm really trying not to wear a dress because that's the punishment, right?
Yep. You got to wear a dress on our draft day and buy a mana drink. Just to be completely kind of humiliated.
Yeah, it's not really humiliating anymore because it's 2025, so people are just like,
I do want to quickly say the Bulls came back down 20 points going into the fourth quarter. Nikola Vucevic hit a corner 3 to put them up by 1, and they won the game. Nearly at the buzzer. Pretty good game.
All right. Wait, hold on. We got some people in chat. Brian says hi.
Okay, what's up, Brian?
He said, I take that trade. Cowboys are going in. Okay. Oh, wait till we get to news. And then the only Timmy. That's who offered me
Timmy. Yeah, that's who you got to deal with.
Timmy.
Thank
you, Timmy.
What's up,
Tim? I hope it works out. It was a good trade. That's the first trade, honestly. Honestly, all year that I got where I was like, you know what? This is like a straight up good trade. He benefits, I benefit. No one's getting screwed. He did try to sneak in, you want to give me Slayton? Dude, my team, I have the stacks going. So I had Jackson Dart and Darius Slayton, and now have Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, and now have Dak and CD. So
I actually like Slayton's outlook. He would have been my number 6 wide receiver that I would recommend. We usually only recommend 5 per position at most, but he would have been the 6th guy. I had to erase that. But I actually like him going into this week.
That's why I kept him. I was like,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
we'll get into those players here in a little bit. Before we do that, DL, let's remind the people, if they want to follow the show on Twitter, where can they do that?
Tweet FFG.
And as always, use the hashtag
AskUsFFG.
Awesome, simple as always. And we did get an email this week. We'll get into that here in a moment, DL. What is the email people can use to send us fantasy-related questions?
I was shocked that this person didn't know, but it's askusffg@gmail.com.
Crazy. It's not like they tune in almost every show. We say it.
Yeah. For 5 years now.
Yeah, you got to love it. Come on, Brian.
Years.
Come on. Anyway, to leave those fantasy voicemails, what is the phone number?
Area code 773-225-5648. I got plenty of time these days, so call ahead.
That's right. Send those calls. We'll play them live on air. We got some new subscribers. I know that for a fact. So if you guys want to call in, again, we'll take those calls live. And please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and
smash
the notification button. That way you know when we go live. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and anywhere that you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, too bad Google Podcast just went down. Oh, okay.
Oh, it did? Anyway. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, they kind of like Podme. I don't know. Anyways.
We outlived Google Podcast? Crazy.
I don't know if it was lit. I don't even know if people... it was lit. It was totally lit. Did you want me to read the email? Are you going to read it or...
Yeah, you want to read it?
Sure.
No biggie.
So this one actually comes from Brian, who's watching right now. It says, "Dear people on my YouTube screen, I'm deciding on Jared Goff versus Washington or Jalen Hurts versus Green Bay. Sleeper has them negligible in point difference."
I'm sorry. One more time. I just got 3 text messages from people asking questions. More questions.
Okay. Anyways, Sleeper has them like pretty close together because I'm not reading that again. Who do you go with? So this week, are you going to go with Goff versus the Commanders, or are you going to go with Hurts versus Green Bay? That's basically the question.
Goff versus the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders just lost Jaden Daniels. They should steamroll the Commanders. I think their hopes for a shot this year are up the gutter. We'll talk a little bit more about the quarterback that's taking over for Jaden Daniels after that gruesome injury. Which, DL, after this question, I want to ask you some questions about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that defense for Green Bay is pretty good. Even though I like Philly, I don't really want the quarterback going up against them. So it's crazy that they ask this because I have both. I have both Hurts and I have Goff in our home league, my home league. So
honestly, I'm going the other way because here's why. Because of the simple fact that yes, Jaden Daniels went down he messed up his elbow, which you'll ask. Which means, like, are the Commanders really going to be in it? Because you got Marcus Mariota. So does Goff just all of a sudden they go up real big and they pull him?
Good point.
Where Jalen Hurts, I mean, if Green Bay is who they say they are with the defense and all that BS, too bad they suck against the Panthers and they lost. Losers. Anyways, yes, suck at Green Bay.
We still play twice. Can't wait.
Okay, so that's why I would go safe bet. I'd go Goff. If you want some upside, to go Hurts. That's probably
a good. I think I agree with you. Safe bet. High floor, Goff. Highest ceiling, yeah, Hurts.
He says, "Sincerely, the phoniest of the homies, Brian. P.S. Fuck the Packers. Yeah, fuck them Packers.
That's right. Right.
Anyways, that was fun. So if you would like to send, once again, any questions to us, hit us up at askus@ffg@gmail.com.
That's right. Okay. askusffg@gmail.com.
Yeah, I kind of hesitant there.
No worries.
Do you want me to go into the news, or you want to ask your injuries, or you want to wait till I get to the injuries?
You know what? We have another jam-packed show, DL.
Yes.
Let's go to the news.
And injuries. News and injuries. So you gotta say both, so that way if someone news watching, like, why is that? Oh. Okay, huge news day. In fact, I got annoyed putting all this in. Not gonna lie. Did you want to stay on the split screen, or you just want me to go solo?
Just go solo, Dolo. Do your thing.
There we go. Help me with the names, though. The Cowboys just got Quinnen Williams.
That's right, Quinnen Williams. If you want, just before you read the name, I will say the name, like disembodied voice for you.
It's like
Quinnen Williams.
That actually looks awesome. Okay. So anyways, blockbuster trade. So yeah, here's the deal. Like the Cowboys sent a 2026 second round pick and a 2027 first round pick, and
Maisie Smith
to the Jets. New York gets the higher of Dallas's 2 firsts. Remember, they've got Green Bay's pick from the Michael Parsons trade.
Quinnen Williams.
He's a monster. 40 sacks, 3 Pro Bowls, top 5 and pressures among tight ends since 2019.
Defensive tackles.
That's what I meant. And Dallas needs it. Their defense is giving up almost 400 yards and 31 points
a game.
Yikes. Okay. The Cowboys are saying they're not done yet. Williams joins Kenny Clark on the inside, that scary duo. Meanwhile, the Jets have 5 round picks over the next 2 years.
That's right. 5 firsts. They're still not going to know what the hell to do with them because the Jets are a terrible organization.
Yeah, it is 5 first round. Okay, cool. So in other news, the Jets also traded cornerback Sauce Gardner. That's a big name. To the Colts for 2 first round picks and wide receiver
Adonai Mitchell.
The Jets just shook the NFL, trading Sauce Gardner only 4 months after making him the highest paid corner in league history. Imagine that. Like, here's all your money. Okay, bye. Gardner's headed to the Colts for 2 first round picks and
Adonai Mitchell.
He signed a $120 million deal this summer. $120 million deal, and now he's out. That's the second player this season traded for multiple firsts after Michael Parsons. Sauce goes from the 1-7 Jets to the 7-2 Colts. That's the biggest upgrade you'll ever see. Through the 55 games, he's got 3 interceptions, 20 passes defended as a rookie, and a Defensive Rookie of the Year award. The Jets now have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Total rebuild mode. The Colts instantly better pairing Sauce with that erroneous defense chasing an AFC title. So what do you think? Did the Colts steal Sauce, or did the Jets win long-term?
I think the Jets made out sweet in this deal. I think Sauce hasn't been as good as the $120 million contract. Good for the Colts, though. They're really going for it.
Dude, they're pushing, and I think that's awesome. And it's like, this is where those like people come in with the like foiled hats of how the NFL is like scripted. Think about it. The owner of the Colts passed away. See where this is going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're not done yet. There's a lot more. The Saints traded wide receiver Rashid
Shaheed
to the Seattle to the Seahawks for 2 picks ahead of the deadline. So the Saints are going to get a 2026 4th round and 5th round pick. Shaheed reunites with OC
Clint Kubiak,
who helped unlock his big playability last year. 4 games over 70 yards and 3 touchdowns before injuries hit. Now he joins JSN, Cooper Kupp, and rookie Troy Horton in Seattle. That's firepower, baby. If Sam Darnold gets time in the pocket, the offense could explode down the stretch. For the Saints, it's a smart rebuild move. 2 picks for a player in a contract year. But for Seattle, that's a perfect low-risk, high-speed upgrade. I'm Dustin Lingeman. Anyways, moving on. The Raiders actually fulfilled somebody's dream, and that was Jacoby Myers. His wish has come true. He has been traded to those Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval. Vegas gets a 4th and 6th round pick in return. The hire of the Jacksonville's 2 fourths in 2026. Myers wanted out for months, and now he gets a fresh start catching passes from Trevor Lawrence. The Jags needed this. Travis Hunter is hurt. Brian Thomas Jr. is banged up, and the offense has been flat without Britton Strange. Myers gives them a reliable slot target with experience and a familiar face in wide receiver coach Edgar Bennett, who coached him in Vegas. In closing, Vegas gets picks, Jacksonville gets production. It's pricey for a player on an expiring deal, but the Jags have the ammo and they're chasing the wins right now. Smart move or overplayed?
I think they made a smart move. I like Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
And I think it's insurance for the future Brian Thomas Jr. trade that's coming.
Interesting.
I don't think it's coming. Well, they missed the deadline, but I think it'll happen at some point before they pay him because he's on a rookie deal still. So, yeah.
Okay. Lastly, we're going to end things with those Chicago Bears. They actually just made a sneaky move, trading for
Zion Shoyinka
from Cleveland Browns. Chicago also gets a 2026 7th-round pick, while Cleveland gets a 6th. Tyron
Shoyinka
was a former first-round pick with the Bucs, 15 sacks and 21 tackles for loss in his first 4 years, but 0 sacks this season in Cleveland. Now he gets a fresh start with the Bears, a young, hungry defense where he could finally make an impact. It's a low risk, high upside, and exactly the kind of move you want to make at the deadline. Can he bounce back in Chicago? Thoughts, JC?
I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea who the fuck he is or was.
Me
I'm
either.
sorry. Sorry if you're watching. Probably not.
Earmuffs.
Look, this is the kind of position that you could trade for and make an immediate impact. This and running backs, you don't need a whole lot of coaching. Just put him down there and tell him, go get the quarterback. That's it. The Bears are screwed up. Like, they are banged up at everywhere on defense. They're without Jalen Johnson. They're without Kyler Gordon. They're without on the defensive line. Shit, who? The Grady Jarrett's gone. They don't have.
What's his name?
Odangbo got hurt towards Achilles.
Who they signed.
Mm-hmm.
Big deal. Or a deal. I don't know.
And who else? Somebody tore their ACL, too, on the D-line.
I can't remember his name.
Shit, can't remember either.
But they're banged up. Out. Let's see. Let me check the chat real quick. Bam. Okay. Nope. There's nothing there. Okay.
So oh my God. No, these comments are wild, y'all. Don't post it, but if you guys want to have a good laugh, you son of a.
All right. Let's hop over to injuries. We're going to start things off with a tough break with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. The rookie QB dislocated his left elbow Sunday night against Seattle and is likely done for the season. Oh, man, isn't he your QB in our? Okay, x-rays came back clean, no fracture, but the MRI will decide if he needs surgery on the UCL, and that's Tommy John ligament.
That's right.
It's not ligament. Ligament.
It's the ulnar collateral ligament. I've been a baseball fan long enough to know exactly what that is.
If not, there's a slim chance he returns late this year since it's his non-throwing arm. Thank you, Jesus. But with Washington sitting at 3-6 and just 4% chance of making those playoffs, there's no reason to rush him back. Daniels has already battled a knee sprain, hamstring, and now this rough rookie campaign. It's not really a rookie anymore. And it makes it worse. Terry McLaurin is also out for a few weeks with a quad and a hip flexor strain. Ugh. Marcus Mariota takes over, but this Washington offense, yeah. So you said you had a question about this. What's your question?
Should he have been in the game? They were down.
Nope. Mm-mm. No.
They were down like 3 scores.
Dude, it was like 38-7, wasn't it? It was like 38-7.
Okay, so then they were down 4 or 5 scores with damn near.
Bro, and I don't want to take away from this because I saw this on First Take, but like he made, apologize, I forget his name, but he makes perfect sense. He's like, why would you have your franchise quarterback out there when the game is gone? Like, there's no way you're coming back to win this. He's not going to get better. He's not going to win you the game. There's no need for him to be out there. If anything, put the backup in so they get some reps, some like real reps, right? Dan Quinn just shit the bed. He literally shit the bed. He just got him back.
That will never happen. He'll never do that again. I guarantee you that.
No, dude. But it's just
his job.
So dumb, dude. I mean, when I was watching the Bears game, there was a time where Caleb got hit and he was like laying on the ground, like, no, right? And that was like, I mean, we were going against the Bengals, so that game, dog game. Anyways, but that's competitive, right? Like, I would be pissed off all to hell if my quarterback was in there and there's no chance of us winning. I'd be like, what are you doing? What's the point?
Mm-hmm. Derrick Rose, anyone? Derrick Rose?
Same
thing.
That was your question?
Let me take the next one. Rough news for Texans fans. Okay. CJ Stroud is in the concussion protocol and is questionable for Week 10. Stroud took a big hit to his chest against Denver, and when he went down, his head snapped back and hit hard on the turf. He showed clear concussion symptoms on the field and was ruled out for further evaluation. Now he's got to clear all 5 steps on the NFL's concussion protocol in order to play this week. But there is concern. This isn't his first concussion. He suffered a concussion last season and missed 2 games. So Houston might take a cautious approach with Stroud. If he sits, expect the Texans offense to take a serious step back in Week 10. Super big fantasy downgrade. And we'll tell you who will assume the role at quarterback and if he has any fantasy relevancy a little later in the show.
Yeah, man, that sucks. Is I traded for Nico Collins, so
man, yeah, it sucks. All right, I'll let you keep going.
Oh, cool, thanks. Next guy we're going to talk about is Aaron Jones. He's a running back for those pesky Minnesota Vikings. He's dealing with a sprained AC joint, even though he had the win over the Lions. Well, if you guys were paying attention last week, we said do not drop Jordan Mason because old man Jones could get injured. And guess what? He got injured. He landed hard on his shoulder, but the good news is that it's reported as a grade 1 sprain, which usually means just 1 to 2 weeks recovery. There's a chance he suits up against the Ravens, but he'll likely need some extra padding or even a pain injection to get through it, similar to Joe Flacco did last week. Right now, he's a 50-50 to play. Expect him to miss some practice time, but it doesn't look like it's a long-term issue. If he sits this week, fantasy managers shouldn't panic. Don't panic. You should be okay. I'm excited because I have Jordan Mason. I'd be really, really happy to play him again, especially against them. Moving on, we got, another one. Rams wideout. Puka Nacua is questionable. Just got back. Yeah, man. After taking a tough hit near the goal line, landing hard on the ball with a defender on his back, the impact actually caused a rib in sternal contusion, basically a deep bruise in the chest area. Sean McVay said he's optimistic about Puka's status, but the team is still waiting for the results and additional scans. Good news. Puka came back to the sideline with his helmet on, which usually means it's not a serious injury. He just didn't return because of game situation. So for now, consider him day-to-day questionable for Week 10 against the Niners. Barring setbacks, this looks like more like a pain management issue than a long-time concern. Tough stretch for the Jags. They're running out of healthy receiving. I don't know why it says that. Tough stretch for the Rams, not the Jags. They're running out of healthy receivers fast. That's because the next person we're going to talk about is Brian Thomas Jr. He's doubtful for Week 10 after suffering a left high ankle sprain in the late game. He got dragged down from behind, trapping that ankle. Classic high ankle mechanism. He
looked like off. That's what it looked like, a hip drop tackle. What they're trying to rule out, that's what it looked like.
Oh, sons of bitches. Anyways, he limped off, never returned for overtime, so he's likely out at least a week, maybe more. So, yikes. Meanwhile,
De'Ami Brown.
is in the concussion protocol. 50% chance for him to play next week, depending on how he clears through the steps. And in Travis Hunter already on the IR with a knee injury, and Britton Strange still sidelined with a hip flexor. And Jacksonville's passing game is running on fumes. Like I did that. All right. Patriots wideout Keyshawn Boutte is doubtful. Boutte. For week 10 after leaving Sunday's win over Atlanta with a hammy. He didn't return. And on Monday, Mike Vrabel said Boutte's not expected to practice early this week. And even hints that rookie Kyle Williams will get more reps. Translation, Boutte's not playing week 10. So
no Boutte for you.
Man, poor Boutte. I hate when I don't get Boutte. Packers rookie Matthew Golden is questionable for week 10 as well after leaving Sunday's loss to the Panthers, because that's just shameful, and he's probably crying on the bench. No, just kidding, folks. It was a shoulder injury. He was initially listed as questionable to return, but was later ruled out. Head coach Matt LaFleur said Monday that Golden is day-to-day and the injury isn't long-term. Good sign for Slacker fans. There's no clear video angle on what happened. We'll just have to wait and see. This one really sucked. I felt bad just for fantasy purposes, but overall, Tucker Kraft is officially out for the season after tearing his ACL in Sunday's game against Carolina.
Jesus.
Yeah, bro. That sucks.
That sucks, man. He was having a top 3 tight end season.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Speaking of tight ends, Cole Kmet is in concussion protocol and is questionable for week 10 after leaving Sunday's game early with a head injury. He didn't return after the evaluation. Will not have to clear every step the league's concussion protocol to play against the Giants this week. There's a lot more, but I was like, man, I'm tired of reading. So
let me throw something out there. Do you think, and I hate to say this because of a concussion, so I'm just going to say it, though. Do you think it's possible that Cole Kmet just got Wally pipped? Are you familiar with Wally Pipp?
Nah. Explain that.
He was the first baseman for the New York Yankees, and he was famously known for missing a game because I believe he was sick. So they put a guy in who wasn't supposed to be any good, just the next guy up. Well, his name was Lou Gehrig. And he played 15 years at first base and didn't give up that position back to Wally Pipp. So it's entirely possible that Colston Loveland takes that tight end job and runs away with it after the game.
Or even Tom Brady.
That's another one.
That's how all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, man, so glad I don't have a Komet jersey, but that sucks though. I hope not. Yeah. I kind of wanted like a dual tight end kind of threat thing. You know,
they'll have that. They showed it in preseason.
Yeah, I was like,
they call it. It's like the sexy name, 12 personnel, to have 2 tight ends on opposite sides. So they showed it in the preseason and they haven't done it at all. But
Brian knew it.
Exactly what I said. Lou Gehrig.
Brian knew it. I'm just saying, like, you know, I didn't hit it fast enough, and Brian knows his stuff.
You gotta make sure you hit it fast enough, bro. You gotta make sure.
Gotta hit it real fast. Anywho, you ready to talk about quarterbacks on the waiver wire?
Let's do it. All right, phony homies, it's time to go over the quarterbacks that you should add in week 10 of the fantasy football season. The first thing we're going to get into before we recommend those quarterbacks is the quarterbacks that are on bye this week. So, because the Cincinnati Bengals are on bye, you will be without Joe Flacco. The Cowboys are on bye, so no Dak Prescott. The Chiefs are on bye, so no Pat Mahomes. And finally, the Titans are on bye, so no Cam Ward. I don't know who's using Cam Ward, but maybe there's some of you out there in super deep leagues or 2 QB leagues. But those will be the quarterbacks on bye. Really quickly, some quarterbacks that you should drop. I think, I'm not sure if DL's in alignment with me here, that Trevor Lawrence is a drop. He'll be without Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., as DL just alluded to. And I also doubt that Jacoby Myers will be acclimated to the offense quick enough this week to make a difference. So, with that said, Trevor Lawrence, to me, is a drop. Another quarterback, the final quarterback that's a drop this week, is Tua Tagovailoa. And that's because he managed just 8.5 fantasy points in week 9 against the Baltimore Ravens. And as a result, he has now posted single digits in 3 of his last 4 games. He's an easy drop for me as the Dolphins take on a good Buffalo Bills defense. Yeah.
Question. You mentioned drop Trevor Lawrence this week. Are you saying like drop him for good, like forget him, drop him like a bad habit, or just you shouldn't start him this week?
This is with the assumption that people are in 12-team or 10-team fantasy leagues. If that's the case, he's a drop. You can cut him. If you don't have anything else, let's say that your starting quarterback stack and you happen to have just Trevor Lawrence and there's nobody else available, then you got to roll him out there. There's nothing you could do. But I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett than Trevor Lawrence or Tua, honestly. I'm just saying. There's a few quarterbacks out there. I'm going to recommend them to you right now, who I'd rather have over those 2 quarterbacks. All right, the first quarterback we're going to recommend, y'all, is the Washington Commanders' Marcus Mariota. The Commanders take on the Detroit Lions this week, and Mariota is only rostered in 10% of fantasy leagues, so we're recommending a $5 fab budget spend. Here's the reason. Mariota tops my QB waiver wire list this week with Jaden Daniels out due to that elbow injury that we spoke about earlier. And the matchup lines up real nice for the Commanders, okay, as Mariota gets the Detroit this week and Miami in week 11 before Washington's bye. Those are both solid spots, even without Terry McLaurin, who's nursing that quad injury. Mariota managed just 13.3 fantasy points in his last start at Kansas City, but don't forget, he topped 20 points in back-to-back games earlier this season. So I would say he's a low-end QB1, high-end QB2 going these next 2 weeks. He's only 5% rostered, so he should be available in most fantasy leagues. Go out there and spend that fab money. You don't got to spend too much, and that's why I think he should be the number 1 fantasy quarterback this week. Number 2 quarterback I'm going to recommend is Justin Fields of the Jets. They take on – the reason why he's number 2 and not number 1 is because they're playing the Cleveland Browns. I think top 2 defense in the league. What happened?
Justin Fields going against the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, it's slim pickings. I'd rather have Fields than Trevor Lawrence.
I get it.
I know. I mean, what do you want me to say? That's
scary. It's just scary, man. Because
I'm just giving you guys who are rostered in under 50% of leagues. Remember that. That's all we recommend.
I'm sorry. That's right. Sorry.
That's all we recommend.
He scares me.
And here's the reason. Okay. Here's the reason. He's rostered in 44% of fantasy leagues. I'm recommending a fab budget spend of $4 to $5. And the reason is Fields went into the bye with some momentum, putting up 22.9 fantasy points in Cincinnati. His best game so far as a Jet. The schedule after the bye isn't ideal, though. Cleveland, New England, Baltimore, and then Atlanta. But because he can run, he has enough upside to be added and started over Trevor Lawrence and Tua. And especially if Garrett Wilson returns this week, which he's supposed to, then Fields has serious fantasy upside. Keep this in mind. If you don't feel comfortable starting him in the fantasy playoffs, weeks 14 to 16, he plays against Miami, Jacksonville, and the Saints. That's gold in fantasy. So he will have some value on your team. Even if you don't feel comfortable starting him this week, I think those are fantasy. That's a fantasy championship winner right there. If you could start him weeks 14, 15, and 16. Stash him. Start him. What you got to do.
I just wanted to jump in real quick because we mentioned that, and that's a good reminder. You reminded me. Start planning ahead of your weeks, especially if you are in the playoff contention, especially if you got a shot. Try to nab these guys way before the rest of your co-managers or managers, people in your fantasy. That's what I'm trying to say. Try to get ahead of it before it's too late.
Yep. Right now is the time. Also, another fantasy tip. It doesn't need to be said, but we'll say it. If you're in first, second, third place, look at the teams that are in last place, second to last, third to last. Look at their buys and try to go get some of their stars. If they have a star on a buy, if CeeDee Lamb is sitting on a buy and you have I don't know, Zay Flowers, or you have, I don't know, you name a mid-tier wide receiver, offer that to one of those teams. They're starting to scramble. They're getting desperate. You might be able to land a star quarterback, a star receiver, a star running back by doing something like that. Keep that in mind. All right. The third quarterback we're going to recommend is J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings take on the Baltimore Ravens this week, and McCarthy is only rostered in 39% of fantasy leagues. I'm recommending a fat budget spend here, DL, of about $4 or $5 fantasy dollars, and here's why. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch this past week, but McCarthy looked really good, okay? He finished with 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing score at Detroit. That's back-to-back quality fantasy outings for the rookie, who's now posted, well, he's not really a rookie, right? Who's now posted 22 points or more in 2 of his last 3 starts. Baltimore's defense is a tough draw this week, but the schedule ahead lightens up. They take on that horrible Chicago Bears defense, then that Washington defense, then that Dallas defense, and finally that Giants defense later on this year. So J.J. McCarthy, another guy you guys should go add. Stash, do whatever you got to do. A good name for you. The fourth guy I'm going to recommend is Geno Smith of the Raiders. The reason is, it really isn't a good reason. I just rather have him over some other guys. They take on the Broncos. That's a very good defense. He's rostered in 22% of fantasy leagues. So Geno Smith got his top target back, Brock Bowers, last week, and immediately exploded for 34.3 fantasy points against Jacksonville.
Awesome.
Smith's been up and down this year, but when Bowers is healthy, and he's finally healthy, he's produced 19 or more fantasy points in 3 of 5 games. I'd avoid him in Denver this week, but stash him for week 11 against Dallas, who's been the friendliest matchup of any team for quarterbacks. He's a smart ad and a smart hold for next week. The last thing I'm going to recommend is Jacoby Brissett, DL of the Cardinals, as the Cardinals take on that really good Seattle Seahawks defense. He's only rostered in 21% of fantasy leagues, which is entirely too low. I'm recommending a fat budget spend of $3 fantasy bucks. Now, Brissett has quietly been one of the better fill-ins in fantasy over the last few weeks. 3 straight starts with at least 23.8 points or more, including a Monday night at Dallas with 2 passing scores and a rushing touchdown. He's set for 1.
Technical difficulties, but JC is back.
There you go.
And
my apologies. My bad. Not sure what the hell happened, but continuing on. So, Jacoby Brissett is set for 1 more start. Well, he's set for a few more starts while Kyler Murray nurses that foot injury. Something's up in Arizona. I think that Kyler Murray's been benched. I think he's feigning an injury to be worse than it really is. It sounds like he got benched for the remainder of the season. Pipped. Yeah, Wally Pipp. So, it looks like Brissett's going to take that job for the rest of the year. And he's been consistent. And as long as he continues to be consistent, he's a guy that I'd like to go ahead and add and start in fantasy. Real quick, Davis Mills for Houston. He's going to start this week against Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's defense is a little better than most people give him credit for. Not a guy that I want to add. Not a guy that I'm really recommending.
Do you think he can throw the ball to Nico Collins a couple times?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even Christian Kirk?
I'd be interested in the Superflex League and in a super, super deep, like 16, 20 team league. That's about it in Davis Mills.
I just need him. But remember, well, that's before they had CJ, but everyone was like, man, Davis Mills ain't that bad. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like
he reminds me
years ago,
a little of like Spencer Rattler. They're like in the same tier.
That's gross. All right, now we're going to move on to running backs. Okay, keep in mind, on bye this week, we got the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Titans. So if you're desperate or if you need a quick fix, here's some guys that I think, or we think, could help you. First up, we're going to go with Devin Singletary. Now, I know, last week we said Tyrone Tracy. Tyrod? Anyways.
Tyrone.
Thank you. He's only rostered at around 5%. Now he looks like he maybe could take over as lead back. I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag back there. But he's facing the Bears this week. We're horrible against the run. So yeah, he should get a lot of volume, I would say. I would value him around like $6 with a budget-minded bid at around $4. But if you need help at RB, make your move. Next, this is more like a handcuff, but I'm going to, and here's the thing. We actually had this in one of our chats, is that running backs right now are scarce beyond scarce. So it's really hard. So please allow me to try to help. But keep in mind, I got nothing. I'm working with like markers when I need paints, So this guy's a handcuff. I'm saying Tank Bigsby. He's in Philly. He's rostered about 26% and could have a big week because Saquon is a little bit banged up. The matchup, he's going up against Green Bay. Not perfect, but a chance for volume. I would say he's valued around like $5, but I would budget more like $3. A good rental option if you need upside and have fab to spend, because we're week 10. We got 7 more weeks. Next, we're going to go down to Cleveland. Dylan Sampson. He's third on my list for the Browns, with Judkins possibly limited. Sampson has a sneaky upside, especially in passing downs. He's only rostered around 16%. Playoff relevant? Maybe not this week, but worth the low fab bid between 2 to 4 as a high risk, high reward ad. Lastly, I'm shocked I was still able to mention this guy, but Tyler Algier, right? He's a handcuff, but in a run-friendly offense against the Colts this week, you know how those matchups go. Around 37% rostered at this time. Fab, very low. I would say maybe not even bidding, but if you have to, $2 or $2 of your fab, use him as insurance if you're worried about Bijan Robinson or one upside this season. He definitely could be someone for you to target. So, just to kind of put a bow on things, I would say if you need RB now, go Singletary. If you want upside, go Bigsby or Algier. If you want a deep flyer, Sampson. Spend smart. Avoid overspending unless you're desperate. Fab is precious. So, what do you think, JC? That was tough, dude. There's nobody, bro.
There's really nothing there. Singletary is an interesting name. I just think Tracy's better. He'll have some, I guess, like fantasy relevancy in PPR.
Like maybe a
third down. The guy I'm most interested in here, the biggest lottery ticket, let's be real, is Algier. But the guy I'm interested in here, that's only if injury, is Sampson. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in Sampson. Let's see what happens. I think Judkins might miss a week if they want to be cautious with him. I mean, they really have nothing to play for over there in Cleveland. So,
I mean, I'm desperate for running backs in a lot of my leagues. I think I'm just going to scoop them, stick them on my bench, see what happens, see what shakes out. Yeah. Go from there. But next, we got those wide receivers, JC.
All right, let's go over some of the guys that are on bye before I recommend who to add. Jamar Chase will be on bye. T. Higgins is on bye. CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, Chimere Dike, and Alec Eilman are all on bye this week. So what Hollywood should you do? That's right, and Hollywood Brown. So what should you do? Well, the number one wide receiver you should add is Alec Pierce of the Colts. He's rostered in less than 10% of fantasy leagues, and the Colts take on the Falcons this week. Pierce has quietly exploded, ranking 4th in receiving yards with 336 week 6, behind only Jamar Chase, George Pickens, and JSN. He leads the NFL in air yards per target with 20.1, and now he's showing a massive big play upside. This week, he has a soft matchup versus Atlanta in Germany, by the way, in Berlin. So we think he's a high-end wide receiver 3 with low-end wide receiver 2 upside. A very strong flex play this week. The next guy we've been talking about for a few weeks is Broncos wide receiver Troy Franklin, who you guys should add. He's rostered in only 31% of fantasy leagues, which is crazy because it's been good for a few weeks now, as the Broncos take on the Raiders this week. Now, the volume for Troy Franklin has been undeniable. Franklin ranks in the top 10 in the entire NFL in targets over the last 3 weeks. His production hasn't always followed, but a matchup against a very bad Raiders secondary should help. He's a high upside flex play. we think a solid wide receiver 3 with room to grow. The third guy we're recommending is another guy that's going to be in this Broncos-Raiders game, Trey Tucker, a guy that we mentioned a few times earlier this season. Well, he's back on the list. He's rostered in 40% of fantasy leagues. And the reason why we're recommending him is because he's going to get all the targets. Jacoby Myers is gone. And as a result, Tucker slides into the number 1 wide receiver role. It's really number 2 because Brock Bowers is the number 1 receiver, but he's a tight end. But with that said, expect volatility, especially this week at Denver, just because of how good Denver's defense is. But the volume spike alone makes him a viable bench stash and probably a flex play the rest of the way this fantasy season. The fourth guy we're going to recommend, I can't believe is available, but he is. That's Tez Johnson of the Buccaneers. He's rostered in 38% of fantasy leagues as the Buccaneers take on the Patriots this week. Now, Johnson has carved out a reliable role in Tampa's offense, and he gets a favorable matchup against the Patriots this week. He's a smooth route runner who's earned increased targets, and he could provide steady wide receiver 3 flex production in PPR formats. And the last guy is a dart throw. The last guy we're going to recommend is Parker Washington of the Jags. He's rostered in only 3% of fantasy leagues. But the Jags do take on the Texans this week, and that's a team that he could definitely put some numbers up on. The reason is because the Jaguars have been leaning more and more on their short passing game. So, with that said, his chemistry with Trevor Lawrence has been improving week to week. We think he's a sneaky add in deeper leagues with some upside. A low-end flex play this week in Houston. DL?
Yeah, man, Tez Johnson. I got him like super early. I'm so glad I hung on to him. I actually had a couple of people try to trade me for Tez. Yeah. Also, there could be some managers out there that dropped him because of the bye. The Bucs were on the bye last week, so maybe people are like, no one's gonna remember him. You should, and you should grab him right away because basically it's him and Mbuka. So yeah, I'll take Tez all day. And hopefully Baker Mayfield got everything kind of worked out. He didn't look so great the last couple of games. It was like, huh? And I have him. I started him. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can keep starting. You're going to keep messing people like that. So
yeah,
out of all these, I really like Baker. But moving on to the tight end wasteland. First guy that we're going to talk, or I'm going to talk about, I would say, is Colston Loveland for those Chicago Bears. Let's go. He's only 24% rostered. Look, with Kmet out, Loveland exploded for 6 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. A big-time breakout for Week 10. He's a must consideration. I'm setting the bid around $4 to $6. Like,
I'm going more. I'm going much more than that.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, he might be the top ad this week, DL. I'm being honest.
He could be.
Just because there's no tight ends available anymore. I think Gadsden was the last good tight end available.
One.
I think Gadsden's going to finish probably top 8. And if for any reason Kmet's out for an extended period of time, there's a chance that Loveland can jump into the top 10 and maybe a little higher.
Honestly. And to be honest, too, a good point is that a lot of times the rookies, like usually the second half of the season is where you see them kind of like really start to shine because they've like, all right, let's see what this kid's got. Grip it and rip it.
Real quick.
I'm sorry?
Can you split screen this real quick? Where were you? Where were you when Colston Loveland caught that ball? When the Bears dude.
I was right here.
I was on a double date, bro. And shout out to my girlfriend. I was on a double date and the Bears were up by like fucking 20 points.
Yeah, you're almost like this.
Over. Yeah. I'll pause the game. I'll come back and finish it because I watched all the games for the show. I'll come back and watch this. I did a quick peek. We were at a place called Activate. I'm not sure if you've been there. Highly recommend. Take your girls. You can play like games. It's like individual rooms. And you do all kinds of like laser games. It's really cool. Cool. It's not why you're here. Look, the Bears were up. By the time half an hour had passed, they were down, bro. They were down.
I was sitting
I couldn't believe it. I grabbed my phone in the middle of a double date to watch the last play of the freaking game when Caleb Williams runs around in the pocket like he always does, throws an absolute dart over 3 guys to Colston. Dude, it was insane. And Loveland takes it to the house. Where were you? What were you doing? What were your thoughts?
Okay. So my whole thing is that for 6 years now, I've had my oldest daughter. I bought her a Mac jersey when she was 3, put it on her, like, yeah, awesome. Daddy daughter day. Yeah. She never wore it again. Right? Never. It was like,
I mean, it's probably best because he didn't do shit after year 1.
Well, no, it was
like
just
the 3rd game.
No, she's like, I want dresses. I want unicorns. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. That's fine. That Sunday, she came to me. She's like, Dad, I want to watch the Bears game with you. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's watch this. She's like, can I wear one of your jerseys? I was like, yes, you can, little one. Which
Did
one?
You take the dick off the wall?
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, you can pick anyone you want. I will break this. And she's like, I want Justin Fields. I'm like, okay, cool. If you spill anything on it, oh well. Anywho, we're watching the game, and then all of a sudden they start to lose, and she's like, Dad, they always lose. I don't know why. And then she's like, I'm gonna go color. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I get it. I was like swearing at the TV. I screamed at the top of my lungs when Loveland caught it. Not only did he catch it, but I was like, all right, cool. Get past like the field goal range. Like, let's go. Like, get a little bit closer. He bounces off.
3 guys.
Bounces off the middle linebacker or safety or whoever. And then I was like, go, motherfucker. Go. Like, just scream. And my wife's like, what's going on? I'm like, ah. And fun fact, I have my little Amazon Echo or whatever we call it.
Yeah. Alexa.
Yeah. Don't say it too loud. And I have it geared so anytime I say touchdown, it plays the Bear song. So the girls came running down.
Awesome.
They're like, Alexa, touchdown. Oh, I might play it. Don't play it. Don't play it. Okay.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. All right.
Alexa, stop.
That you weren't kidding.
I'm serious. Like, it is so pinpoint. And even when I have it set for when the Blackhawks score, it plays this. Anyways. Awesome. So yeah, that's where I was. And that was awesome. And I was so happy for him because he got, with Tyler Warner getting all the praise and everyone just like, and you yourself, you were pissed that they went with Loveland over that. I was like, all right, bro. Like, I'm glad.
I'm going to be honest. Warren doesn't make that play. As good as Warren is, that's why they got Loveland for that. Yeah. Because he's honestly, he's a lot like Brock Bowers. He's a wide receiver. He's a lot like a young Travis Kelce, a wide receiver playing tight end. And he can block like really well. There was a few trick plays which the Bears pull out all the stops where they had Loveland play basically like left tackle or right tackle and block like a ton of times. So I was very impressed, man. I was very, very impressed. And Monangai too, bro. We didn't talk about him.
We didn't talk about Monangai. Hold on. Man. Let me get through these tight ends and then we'll come back. We'll come back. Because otherwise it's going to be another hour. And anyways, but yeah, it was awesome. The next, and I only have a couple here. So the next guy I'm going to recommend, or we're going to recommend, is Theo Johnson. He's roughly rostered at 29%. He's been dependable target for the Giants, and he's got a favorable matchup against the Bears. I would bid between $3 to $5 on him. And finally, going to put a bow on it. We're going to go with AJ Barner, about 50% rostered. What a value he's getting red zone work in Seattle and faces the Cardinals this week. Low roster percentage, probably maybe not even 1%, with high upside. I'd stick around like $2 to $4 here. So, fab strategy, if you need tight end upgrade now, go strong on Loveland. If you're building depth or looking ahead, Barner is a steal, and don't overpay. Tight end waivers shouldn't drain your budget unless it's a game changer. Told you it was fast.
It was fast. Yeah, let's get through some defenses and then we can finish off that Bears. It's a game.
Okay.
Real quick, let's go 1-1.
Sure.
First defense we're going to recommend for Week 10 is the Seattle Seahawks as they take on the Arizona Cardinals. Although they are rostered in 58% of fantasy leagues, they may be available. So, Seattle's defense has been one of the hottest fantasy units in football, averaging nearly 10 points per game over the last 3 contests. Mike McDonald's squad has been ferocious up front, racking up almost 5 sacks per game during that stretch. The Seahawks already put up 11 fantasy points against Arizona in Week 4, and they should stay hot at home against the Cardinals offense that has struggled to find consistency. This is a top streaming option for Week 10. Deal?
I like it a lot. The next one we're going to recommend is those Cleveland Browns. They're going up against the Jets. They're only about 28% rostered in most leagues. This matchup has a low score written all over it. Both the Browns and the Jets rank in the bottom 10 in points per game. And while New York did explode for 39 points before its bye, that came against a South Bengals defense. Cleveland, on the other hand, continues to boast one of the stingiest defenses in the league, particularly in yards allowed and pressure rates. Expect a grinded out kind of game where the Browns defense should rack up sacks and maybe even force a turnover or two. A safe, steady option for Week 10.
And finally, sorry, Dale. And finally, the Carolina Panthers are the last defense to recommend as they take on a lowly New Orleans Saints offense. They are rostered in, get this, 0.8% of fantasy leagues. I don't know where that number came from, but that's what research showed. 0.8, less than 1%. Now, this one's a deep cut, but the matchup makes it worth it. The Panthers' defense has been inconsistent, but they're coming off of one of their best performances of the year against, shocking, a shitty Green Bay Packers offense. At Lambeau, by the way. Now they face a Saints team that's allowed a top 8 fantasy defense in 3 straight weeks. So basically, any team playing against the Saints, you should try to stream them. Carolina's pass rush has shown flashes of life lately, and if you're desperate for a streamer, they're a sneaky play with a turnover upside. That's who we recommend.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's talk about that Green Bay game. The only thing I really want to talk about is their ugly-ass uniforms. Like, what are they doing? Like,
those are hideous. Some people like them. I thought they were
horrible.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, it's like you're wearing like almost Bears colors. Like, why? Who is the one who pulled that trigger? And like, they ripped off the helmet. Who was it? Was it Notre Dame who started that? Like leather.
Somebody did. Yeah, it looked like a leather helmet.
Notre Dame or like anyway. But it's such a ripoff. I'm just like,
Love looked bad too.
Yeah. Oh, he looked real bad. And it's the Panthers. No offense, but it's the Panthers. Like,
no.
I mean, their defense, like,
you know what? Super that good. Reminds me of like boxing when a guy doesn't really train for a fight and he goes up against a tomato can and he's like, he takes him light. And then the guy comes out and beats his ass. And he's like, oh, damn, I took him lightly. I didn't realize he was going to be this good. That's what it reminded me of. They probably thought they were going to roll the Panthers, you know? I mean,
everyone did. That's why we call it a trap game. That was a trap game. But I don't think I saw that coming because I was like, nah, Packers got this. Like, they got, you know.
That's what I thought. It's crazy.
Anyways, going back to what really matters, and that's the Bears. Manungai. I just like saying his name.
Manungai. Yeah. I actually had a bet with Rudd, one of our fantasy football homies, the phony homies, that he wouldn't finish in the top 3 this week. I think he may have.
Bro, he looks so good.
I think he may have.
So good. You know, I've been seeing like some comparisons. One was a funny meme because you got like the Lions that are 5-3 and the Bears are 5-3. Saw a couple of those are funny. But even Manungai's like stats, he's only played like one, like I would say one start of a game, and he has this almost the same numbers as Ashton Genty.
Crazy,
which is nuts. And the other thing that was kind of funny is that we traded the Bengals.
Yeah,
traded the Bengals,
the same team
for that pick, and then that guy just ran up and down on him. Now, keep in mind, the Bengals, I think they're like one of those teams, like the defense, where like if you're going against the Bengals, like, hey, it's almost like the Cowboys. You're just like, this defense blows.
Yeah.
They're real bad. They're
absolutely.
Just so bad.
No. You're correct.
Yeah. And then, did you hear that rumor about Roma Dunze's daddy?
Dad? Yeah, what's up with that? Is that real?
Yeah, it's real. His dad's like, someone's like, oh, you know, Rome didn't get any targets. They should trade him. And his dad's like, yeah, they should. And I was like, wait a second.
Rome's been great for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, like it's not like he's been like wide open. Not only that, the dude drops the ball.
Drops, yes. And they're not giving him official drops. I don't know why, but bro, Kmet gave him the come at, by the way, on a crazy trick play.
That was
gave
awesome.
him a perfect pass, and he dropped it.
Yeah, it was right there. Right there.
How many times does Caleb catch him on a crazy scramble down the sideline, and he's like trying to do a little toe tap swag, trying to catch it as he's leaning, and he drops it. How many times have we seen that this season? So
a lot. So calm down, Mr. Adunze.
It's interesting. You know who he's taking a page out of Caleb's book, because Caleb's dad did the same thing last year. So,
which I don't get. It's just like it's not like he's having like a really good year. It's not even like he's down or they're like, man, they don't target him enough. If anything, I figured like DJ Moore's dad would be on there and be like, oh, there's
DJ Moore's dad.
Seriously,
what's my dad doing? Let me see if he's gonna tweet.
Like
me about some
shit. This is bullshit
out here.
I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if he's like, yeah, Dad, I can't say anything. Can you just like say something?
That's exactly what it is, bro.
That's
a tale as old as time,
bro.
That's been happening forever. All these like Stephen A. Smith, half the shit he gets are from like people's inner circle, not the actual athlete. Yeah, his daddies. No, from like a friend of a friend, a cousin's uncle's sister. You know. That's just what it is. This is how it's been. That's a weak ass way to pout and complain. If you want to do it, go directly to the media during fucking a post.
Yeah, or like
ridiculous.
I don't know, not even just like go and like talk to your coach and be like, hey, like what's going on? And it was one game, and not only that, like the trick plays, like dude, I was like, this is why we have Ben Johnson, because those trick plays were insane. I was like, I was not gonna lie. When I saw it kind of like unfold, I'm like, oh man, why are we doing this stupid, goofy shit? And then I was like, holy fuck, it worked. Wow, that's awesome. Let's go. So, but yeah, I'm excited, man. Like we're 5-3. The Bears, like I did a double take when I saw that meme of like the Bears and the Lions had the same record. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit.
What? The NFC North is up for grabs. And I think outside of the Lions, I think the Bears are the second best team, being honest.
Yeah, I'd go Lions, Bears,
Packers, Vikings. Maybe Vikings. I don't know.
Maybe Vikings get like a little bit of a boost because JJ McCarthy. What was crazy though, was even more nuts, is the Vikings had Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. They had both of them, and they're having like crazy good season this year. And then you have, well, Carson Wentz, man, I feel bad for him because like he shouldn't have played that one game. I think it was a Thursday night game. He was just like
he was dragging yeah, exactly.
Like, shut the fuck up. Get out.
Get out there.
Shut up, bitch.
Take that. Yeah, right.
Like, no, we're not hurting, JJ. We're gonna ride. Yeah, basically they're gonna ride until the wheels fall off, and they fell off bad. I felt bad for that guy because I'm like, man, this guy is like literally like crying in pain. Crying in pain
off the bench to throw him in. It's crazy, man.
And then you see JJ McCarthy like, yeah, let's go. He's like running up the sideline. You're like, son of a bitch. Anyways,
crazy.
Cool.
All right, y'all. That's it for today's episode, Phony Homies. Remember to shoot your start sit questions to us by tweeting us at
tweet FFG
and use the hashtag that we always recommend.
Ask us FFG.
And as always, if you don't have X, Twitter, whatever the youngins call it these days, the YNs, use the email. What's that email?
Did you say YN? Ask us ffg@gmail.com.
That's right. And finally, if you want to send any fantasy-related text, pictures, voicemails, whatever you want, DL, what is that phone number?
Yeah, if you're bored, you can hit me up at 773-225-5648. I may answer. So don't be stupid. Because I record everything.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in, Phony Homies. Thanks to DL for his fantastic fantasy advice. My name is John Carlo. We'll catch you on another episode of the Fake Football Guys Show. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and
smash
the notification button. That way you know when we go live. We'll catch you guys on another episode.